What up? Welcome back to Pokaching. I hope that you're all doing well and you're all having an awesome day. In today's video, I would like to talk about Pokemon collection dysmorphia. What I mean by dysmorphia is comparing one's collection to other big content creator collections that you can see on Instagram, YouTube, or other forms of social media. I use the word dysmorphia, which is often used for a person's body, often applies to people that do workouts and follow strict training routines, or maybe not even, but people that do work out and they compare themselves to other people that do that as a career, that maybe have amazing physiques or have really good performances during their workouts or certain sports, things like that. And dysmorphia is essentially something that happens when you're always striving to be better and better and better, and sometimes you even reach your goals, and even at that point you want more and more and more, and you're always looking at yourself as if you're not good enough. You're never good enough, you've never achieved the ultimate goal, the ultimate physique, or the ultimate collection like we're talking about today, but it's always wanting more and never being satisfied with what you have right now. It's the overall feeling of just never feeling good enough. And of course, the same thing can apply to collecting Pokemon cards. And I think that this topic is very important, something that we really need to talk about, especially today, where collecting, buying, just trying to get product overall is fucking impossible, and actually enjoying the hobby is becoming increasingly difficult. If you watch a lot of big Pokemon TCG or pack opening content creators on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, for example, and you look at what they have, it's very easy to think that your collection isn't good enough. And that's when the big question should arise: why do you collect? What brought you to collecting Pokemon cards in the first place? Are you trying to have a better collection than everyone else? Are you trying to make money with this stuff? These questions are very important if you're just a collector. And it's important to ask yourself these questions just to remind you why you collect, what brought you here in the first place. Personally, I was 7 years old. It was between 1999 and 2000 when I really got into Pokemon. I loved the anime, I loved the video games on Game Boy Color. The gold version it was and still is my absolute favorite video game of all time. And I don't say that lightly, it really is. I just love that game and I was obsessed with it as a kid. And when I discovered the trading cards, I was hooked instantly. But just to put things into perspective, when I was a kid, my favorite cards weren't always the holo cards, because at the time, Wizards of the Coast era, the biggest hit you could get was a holo card. So you only had common, uncommon, rare, and holo rare. And I will pop up some of my favorite cards from back in the day up on screen just so you can get an idea of what I really liked as a kid. So a lot of commons, uncommons, yes of course I did like the holo cards. But it just goes to show that I really did appreciate a lot of the less sought after cards. But yeah, whether the card was holo or not didn't really determine the fact that I liked it or I didn't. And I certainly didn't give a shit about the value of the cards. All I cared about was whether it was a Pokemon I liked, whether I liked the artwork, whether the card overall appealed to me visually. Did I like it? Did it look good in a binder? That's all that really mattered to me. And I think that we all need to try and get back to that. We need to get back to enjoying artwork and just enjoying our favorite Pokemon. We really need to enjoy everything, whether it be a common, an uncommon, a rare, an EX, it doesn't really matter, we just need to enjoy everything. And I think that even me, as someone that opens up Pokemon cards on video for the YouTube channel, I need to be careful of how I present things, how I present what I'm looking to pull. Because often in my videos I will say, I'm looking to pull this SIR or this illustration rare, so it's often the top tier rarities that I'm chasing and the ones that I mention. But you have to keep in mind, and it's something that I'm going to try to do as time goes on, as I make my future videos, is talk about the smaller cards that I'd like to pull. Because when I look at a set list, there are a bunch of commons, there are a bunch of uncommon cards that I really want to have, that I can put in my binder later on when I have, my section of a certain set in my binder. I like to have some of the commons and uncommons from the artworks that I really enjoy. And I think that it's important to really emphasize that you can really enjoy all those lower tier cards. And I think it's important to say also on video that that's what I'm looking to pull as well. Not just the illustration rares, not just the SIRs, but also the commons and the uncommons. To any of you that have watched my previous videos, you've probably noticed that I do take the time to look at certain artworks as I pull cards that I like. I tend to look at the artwork, take a little bit of time to appreciate it, because I like to share with you guys what I like in terms of artwork, to hopefully get you guys to appreciate it as well. Not necessarily only the artworks that I like, but just take time to enjoy all the lower tier cards as well. I think one of the biggest problems today is that, with all the rip-and shippers, other bigger YouTubers that maybe, fly through all the cards just to get to the hits, and they just flick through all the commons and uncommons, you barely have any time to see them. I do think this is a bit of an issue, and I'm not trying to criticize anyone, because I do understand that if you're a bigger content creator and you open a lot of packs, then obviously at a certain point you probably get desensitized to all of the the regular cards, and you're only really looking to get the bigger hits because you have so many cards that it's just like you have to focus on something. So I do kind of understand that, but I do think it's really important for anyone making videos, kind of communicating and sharing your hobby and your passion with other people. I think it's really important that people understand that you don't have to be pulling the SIRs, the hyper rares, or the illustration rares to actually enjoy the hobby. Now, I'd just like to take a bit of time to look at some of the cards from recent sets that I really enjoy. So I'm going to keep talking. I'm just going to flick through the cards so that you can see them on screen as well while I continue talking about the topic of today's video. But yeah, I'd like you to see some of these cards and just understand that I do really keep these aside, and I think that you guys should do the same and not just focus on the big hits. And we need to get out of this mentality of thinking that if we didn't pull an SIR or we didn't pull a top tier illustration rare, that the opening was an absolute bust. And we also need to stop paying too much attention to the value of the cards. It doesn't matter if you're pulling expensive cards unless you're trying to make money with this. If you're just here to collect, build up a nice binder, maybe grade some cards that you really enjoy, you don't need to focus on how much it's worth. Once again, if you're not looking to make money and you're just trying to collect, the value is not important. Then again, I do understand that you guys want to see some value in your collectibles. I do understand that, and I feel the same. Although value doesn't really bother me too much with my personal collection, because I also invest on the side. But my personal collection, I really don't care about the value because I have no intention of selling my personal collection. Those cards are for me, they're for me to enjoy, and the value is irrelevant. But if you do want to go for some of the higher tier cards, try to focus on the EXs, the illustration rares. Some of them are, they're relatively easy to pull. If you open a few packs, you could get one, So try to really enjoy those. And even if you have only a handful of those, just take the time to appreciate them. Try to think about when you were a kid. I'm thinking about when I was a kid. I'd maybe have like 4 or 5 holos max at one time. And I was really, really happy to have those. I really took the time to appreciate those cards. And they were like, I don't know, I treasured those cards. And I think that today there's just so much coming out, so fast, so furious, so much comparison to all the other YouTubers that have massive collections with a fuck ton of cards, that everyone's just like, man, what I have is kind of shit. What's the point? Why should I bother if my collection is so boring compared to what other people have? And that's the problem. That's the problem, is that we're always comparing ourselves to other people. And if you have this problem, I think that the best idea for you would be to actually stay away from social media for the time being, or at least block out all of the kind of Pokemon content creators and stuff like that. If you want the news and all that kind of stuff, fair enough. If you want to keep up to date, you want to know what cards are in each set, fair enough. But if you don't want it to be kind of polluted by what everyone else is pulling and other people's collections, I think it's best to kind of stay away from social media and try to kind of bring it back to basics and just enjoy the hobby for what it is, which is just collecting cards, collecting pieces of cardboard where you like the artwork on it. So once again, don't compare yourself to others, really focus on every single card that you can get in a booster pack. Look at the commons, look at the uncommons, look at every single rarity, and just try to enjoy everything. And if you do happen to pull an SIR, enjoy it, because it only happens occasionally. And that's the way it's meant to be. You're not meant to be pulling SIRs every single time you do a pack opening. So try not to be disappointed if you don't get any SIRs in your pack openings. Because the whole idea behind special illustration rares is that when you do pull one, it's something really special. And once again, if you only have a few in your collection, that's fine. Appreciate them, take the time to enjoy them, and just have fun with it. So I think that the biggest takeaway in this video is just not comparing yourself to other people. There will be massive content creators out there that have a lot of money available that they can put into the hobby, and therefore they can open a ton of product and they can get a bunch of really nice cards. But that's not the norm. That's not what most people can afford. The vast majority of us just are able to buy a few packs here and there, maybe a booster box of each set. It doesn't really matter what you can buy, just enjoy what you can buy and enjoy what you can get. Don't compare yourself to other people, and know the difference between what you really want and what everyone else really wants. Because often people will be talking about a specific card, they're hyping it up, everyone's talking about this card, and therefore you see that card and you're like, man, I think I have to pull that card because everyone's talking about it. So if I pull that, then I've won, right? Everyone's talking about it. It's worth a lot of money. It's really hard to get. That means that it's the best card. No, that's not how it works. That's just what everyone else is telling you. Everyone is telling you it's worth this much, so it's better than all the rest. It's this rare, it's better than all the rest. Everybody wants it because it's a popular Pokemon, so it's better than all the rest. But that's not true. That's just the perception of people overall. But the thing is, you're an individual with your own preferences. You have your own favorite Pokemon, you have your own favorite artworks, and you don't need to be influenced by what everyone else thinks. So you need to know the difference between thinking you want a card and actually wanting it. So my advice to anyone that's struggling to enjoy the hobby right now is just to take a break from social media, maybe go and buy some of the cheaper, less loved sets, because there are some really nice artworks in there, just not the highest rarities, because once again, everyone's focused on the top tier cards. But if you just go deeper into the set, if you look at the commons, you look at the uncommons, you look at the illustration rares, take Shrouded Fable for example, take Obsidian Flames for example, those aren't the most loved sets. Yes, Obsidian Flames is starting to get a bit more expensive, but there are still options out there because I found them as well. Go to blister packs, go to multi-pack collection boxes, go to mini tins, things like that. You can still get them relatively cheap and they still contain those packs. You know, you can get Shrouded Fable, you can get Paradox Rift, you can get Obsidian Flames. Those aren't excessively expensive, you can still find those. And if you look at the sets, you look at the illustration rares, all three of those sets have some amazing cards in them, and they're still affordable today. So try go back to that, stay away from social media, maybe buy some singles as well. If there are some specific cards that you really like, you can buy some really nice cards. I have a perfect example of a card that I really like, and that's the Paradox Rift illustration rare Hydreigon. I think the artwork is absolutely insane. It's a beautiful card, and it's not that expensive. So you can enjoy the hobby, you can enjoy some of the cards that you really love, some of the Pokemon you really love. You just need to look outside the box and not follow all the trends, not go buying into the newest sets because they're excessively expensive right now. Just go back, take a bit of time, just research the older sets and buy some of that. I just want to mention the value aspect once again. If your cards aren't that valuable, that expensive, and you're not looking to sell them, it doesn't matter. Nobody gives a shit. No one cares. It's your personal collection. It's for you to enjoy, not anyone else. So the value is irrelevant. Guys, I hope this video helped. I hope I didn't repeat myself too much. I hope everything kind of made sense to you guys and I helped you to maybe realize that you can enjoy the hobby even if you aren't pulling the most expensive cards, the most hyped up cards, and that you can really enjoy it on a basic level. If you just collect your favorite Pokemon, just collect your favorite artworks, and you just stop paying too much attention to the value of the card and how rare it is, and stop looking at what everyone else has, and just get what you can get. Sometimes it can be a good idea to not even look at the set lists, not even look at, you know, who's pulling what, and not look at the news, and just try find some Pokemon product, just buy it and discover it. You know, as kids, that's what we used to do. We used to buy packs and we'd open them. We had no idea what the set was. We had no idea what cards would be contained inside. It was, you know, a mystery. It was brand new. You'd discover a card and you'd be like, wow, that's amazing, because you didn't know it existed. And that was kind of part of the magic back in the day. And although I look at the set lists because I invest in this stuff also, you know, I think it's really important if you're just a collector to just take a step back and try to really enjoy it. Try imagine if you were a kid again and try do what you did as a kid and just enjoy it that way. So guys, that's it for the video. I hope it helped. If you have any comments, let me know down below what you're thinking about the current state of things, what you're doing to enjoy the hobby. If you have any maybe takes that I didn't mention in this video that you want to share with other people, just let us know in the comments down below. Everything helps. You know, just try to help everyone enjoy the hobby as much as possible, even though it is very difficult at the moment. And yeah, I hope this helped. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it helped. And until next time, guys, take care. Peace out.